Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them, and I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that I have plot synopsis and character bios for these issues. We're going to be looking at two issues today, continuing our run to Captain America 350, and we're going to be looking at Captain America 346 and 347 from 1988. And this is the aftermath of John Walker's parents' death in the previous issue here. And we see Freedom Force um, behind him and Battlestar. And Captain America is not doing very well. As mentioned before, this is John Walker, Captain America. And so our title is Ambush, and he's been sitting catatonic after his parents' death, been patched up, but basically has just been sitting here. And we have the local sheriff, and this is John Walker's handler, and even Battlestar is like, oh my god, this dude, he's like a zombie. Here we have the credits. Mark Gruenwald is a writer, Kieron Dwyer is the penciler, and Al Milgrom is the inker. So, notice the editor's not there, just Tom DeFalco is the editor-in-chief. So, all right. So, um, he comes in and they're like, he looks drugged. They're like, we haven't done anything to him. And so Battlestar is in there and he's like, it's all right. We heard what happened to his parents. And he finally says, yes, my parents. And then we get a brief synopsis of the previous issue. I do have a playlist. I have covered everything starting with Captain America 321 and current, and we're heading toward issue 350. And I wanted to cover where Captain America begins his dissolution. Captain America Steve Rogers kind of begins his dissolution, and John Walker becomes the new Captain America, and now we are heading into this finally where Steve Rogers returns as Captain America. And so it's been a very good run. This is now Mark Grendel has been the writer of Captain America for quite a few years now. So he's really I don't know, he's really done good stuff with Captain America. So we're gonna get a brief explanation of the origin in which the this group, the Watchdogs, had his parents because his identity had been revealed by left winger and right winger, which is these two mercenaries. And so in that whole thing, his parents were murdered, and of course he snaps. So he ends up killing almost all of them here, and he's here. 9 dead, 3 in critical wounded, and 13. Three in critical condition and 13 wounded. And this guy's like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? And Battlestar says it's his fault. He should have gone with him, and he says it's not your fault. And so, um, he was covering for him for something else, and so he takes him out here. And so this guy tells him, this Captain America doesn't seem that he's going to be able to fit in. He's going to be a bit of a wild card, and he of course is like, he'll be censured and whatever, but I don't need your opinion. And so they're like, all right, go on. And so he's like, you've really done it this time. So we go to Fort Meade here, and they're gonna meet with a D-man here. They're gonna say that he's like, I know my rights, I want my lawyer. And they're like, sit down, and they're pointing their gun at him. Okay. And so he's gonna be charged as a traitor and committing sedition, and of course they know about Steve Rogers, and he figures Vagabond must have revealed it. So while that's happening, these guys here, the Resistance, they're mutants who are against the Mutant Registration Act. They are going to free this guy. This truck is heading toward the Vault, which is a super prison in Colorado, and so they're attacking it. And when they do, here come the guardsmen, and they realize they make a brief comment here how this isn't as good as the ones that Iron Man used to do. Of course, that is because of the Armor Wars, or the Stark Wars as they were known, and so he took them back. And so she comes in and gets, she's gonna here to get this guy out. We're gonna see who he is in a few. And so they use powers here. Like I mentioned, these are mutants, and off they go. And destroy, the truck and everything. And here he's admonishing Captain America here, and he's just taking it. He is just catatonic as this guy is like, you're supposed to obey orders, this and that. And he's just, yeah, whatever. And so he tells him to get out, dismiss, and just walks away. He doesn't know what to do, so he's gonna ask his superior what it is. So now all of a sudden, this moves here, and we are not sort of revealing who this is. We gotta wait till issue 350. It's a good payoff here. And so he says, hey, the new Captain America screwed up. He's like, I know. And he was wondering if what they should do, if they should remove him or what. And he says, no, the concept of Captain America is important to the American people, to the world, to me. And you can already sort of tell who he is by the cigarette, but that's all right. And he says, you may discipline John Walker however you like, but I want to keep him as Captain America at the costs. Furthermore, send him back into action as quick as possible. He's like, but he's a loose cannon, and he needs time off. And so all of a sudden he goes, oh, sorry, sir, whatever you say. What about the Watchdog incident, the deaths? Cover it up as best as you can. Okay. And he says, one last thing, Rockwell. I want you to arrange for the Taskmaster to escape from your detention center. Without him, good labor is hard to come by. That is all. Keep me posted. And he goes, that he was no help. And so, if you can hear it from my voice, I am recovering from a brief cold here. And so, he thinks that they're going to fire him, and he's like, I'm going to talk to somebody. And John Walker's like, just leave it alone. And so he's going to go talk to Valerie Cooper. Then they call him to this briefing, and so he turns back. Turns out that here is Freedom Force. They look this... Kieron Dwyer is a good penciler, man, but he is... there's a reason that Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, and Mark Silvestri took this by storm. He's like, these guys were like, we're not gonna draw like this, and they started doing the more action-packed type things. I mean, look at this. This just looks so silly. Even back then, I thought this looked just, I don't know. And yes, it's all in there, but there's ways to make this more dynamic. I don't know. So they're going to talk about these resistance here, and they're going to set them up. Basically, they're going to create a fake trial, and they're going to let them escape and find out where their mission is. And Battlestar's like, hey, that's the same that they had us do with the Watchdogs. So, and he keeps wanting to call him Bucky, but you'll see that all the time anyway. So Freedom Force, of course, makes fun of them because when they encountered the Resistance, they got their butts kicked. And so he just kind of looks here. So Mystique is going to be the one that pretends that she is, oh my goodness gracious, Quicksilver. And so they're going to, like I said, have a fake trial. And so this guy comes through, and they said they reached a decision. He's going to stay as Captain America. They've put too much invested in him. He's all like, whatever. And so his job is to back up Freedom Force. So they give him his costume back, and he is back. So now we go back to the Resistance, and they are setting up where Mesmero had set up back in X-Men 52. That would have been way back in the day, and um, they're setting up this encampment here. So they rescued this guy who used to be called Mentalo, and he's gonna change his name into Think Tank. And so they needed a telepath in their midst. And so here's this fake trial, but they actually have people there, and look at um, Stonewall here, and so this is Pyro, and the Blob is the judge. A little bit silly, but that's all right. Meanwhile, here is Captain America just looking, and here comes the Resistance, and we are about to have a big fight here. And so Captain America continues to watch. Destiny says, "Hey, they're here," and of course she's showing her arms, and of course the crowd's like, "What the hell?" And so Meteorite is was one of the people, and so he crashes this meteor to them, and here comes Captain America, and he is just gonna pummel them, just um, and so yeah, just brutal here. Kieron Dwyer is a good penciler. I don't want you to misunderstand me. I do like Kieron Dwyer, and he has, but the confines of the this era of the 80s before Jim Lee becomes Jim Lee. I will be doing a video showing Jim Lee before Jim Lee, and how what he is now is nothing like what he had done very early in his career. So here you can see this guy starts shooting, moves out of the way, ends up shooting this guy here. And Captain America just brutalizes, just won't stop. And so finally Battlestar stops him here. And Freedom Force is like, oh my God, just getting out of here. And of course, they were like, you were just supposed to watch. They were supposed to let him out. And finally, Battlestar says, "What's the matter?" And he says, "Today would have been my parents' funerals, but I missed it, so I could do this." And yeah, something is definitely going to come to head. So here we are with 347, and so these are the two dudes that um gave up his identity to the public here. So all right, and so we have a ringing of the doorbell. This old lady is gonna watching is it Wheel of Fortune? Yeah. And Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, creators of Captain America. And so she opens the door and is surprised, and of course we see Captain America here. She is the mom of one of the those two, Hector. And so he's telling him, "Tell your son Hector the next time I see him, he's a dead man." So again, same creative teams, except this time Ralph Macchio is finally recredited as the editor. And so she's all like, "Oh my God, my heart, my heart." So she's going to call her son, who they're working out in a gym here and fighting. And so this guy picks up the payphone, says, "Hey, your mom's calling." And he gets the news that he was threatened through her. And of course, he's like, "My mom is old, and how dare him?" And they try to say, "Hey, we're the ones that sort of caused it when we did that." And then his excuse is like, "Yeah, well, I didn't know that this was going to happen." So of course it did. So they are, Captain America is blaming them for the death of his parents, and in a way that he is correct. They're the ones that gave up the identity. And so they're here talking now about the Commission on the Superhuman Activities here, and that this is Garrett here, and they're like, man, Captain America, we need to get rid of him. This guy is a loose cannon. Steve Rogers was better, and so they're like, the Commissioner Rockwell, he hasn't gotten there, and so Captain America, well, the Captain, Steve Rogers, this character, so once John Walker becomes, um, takes this uniform, he'll be called the U.S. agent. It's kind of cool name. And he's like, I haven't had a lawyer. And they're like, you'll get a lawyer when we say you get a lawyer. And so they continue here, and Steve Rogers just kind of gonna sit there and wonders, if everything he's done since he stopped becoming Captain America is has been a mistake, and that his friends, are gonna be in danger because of him. So all right, now he continues threatening. This is the ex-wife of another one, and she's like, "I don't give a shit. Look at what that loser has left me here." So, he's kind of like, "Okay, all right." And so here's Battlestar. He is getting ready to get his GED here. So he hope. I love the shirt. I love the Marvel comics and the Spider-Man in the back. That is pretty cool. And so here comes left wing and right wing, or I don't know which. I don't know which one's which, but somewhere in Algeria, there's a prison break here, and they're letting out this guy here, and he they're getting they're killing everybody, but he's coming out, and so these are Russians that are freeing this guy here, and here comes and he's trying to help him out. He's like, I'm not an invalid. And he's like, I don't mean any disrespect. He kicks him down. He's like, you'll weigh us down. And so then they kill him. And so he's getting away. And he's the new Red Skull, by the way. Or the Red Skull. So this is from. So he got sent into prison in Solo Avengers, and he became the new Red Skull. Does it say there when he did? Um anyway, he took over. This isn't the original Red Skull. Anyway, so he is talking, and they're like, "Hey, we also have something else for you." And he turns around, and boom, they kill him. Now, I know it's a comic book, and so you have to do things to fill pages, but I feel like to break him out of prison and go through all that just to do this seems a bit overdone. Like, I'm sure there was another way to kill him. Anyway, so we have a new Scourge, by the way. Justice is served. That was the Scourge's method. And so this guy here is like, we're under a lot of pressure. The other commission members are getting suspicious. And he's like, about what, Douglas? He's like, Steve Rogers, sir. I've been holding him for over a week, and the commission wants to know what I'm going to do with him. If you would just tell me what your ultimate plan is for him, I'd be happy about getting expediting it. And he says, I told you before, Douglas, I will disclose to you when I want you to know, and not a moment before. But, sir, now if you'll excuse me, I got to call into the other line. And so, of course, the Scourge calls and he says, you've eliminated him, carry on, and begins to laugh. And so here comes Captain America, and he's going to threaten the dad now of the one that the wife didn't give a shit about. But they show up here. If you remember from the cover, he fights them. So we are going to have another big fight here with. And look at this. This is awesome. This is a really good panel here. I like it. Just showing him that he is just uh, insane. Really, is the lack of it. He's drooling here. That is pretty cool. And so here we go, laughing as he begins to pummel them, and just insane here. Oh my goodness gracious. This is I believe that this is one of the best Captain America runs and should be made into a movie. I think Marvel should restart their thing, their movie universe, and maybe do it right. There's a reason that these stories and these characters are so good, and I think they should quit looking down on comic books and allow some of these great stories to be told. John Byrne's short run would make a great movie. This would make a great two movies. Um, and I mean the entire from 321 to 350. I think that would make even a trilogy. There's a lot of stuff that I think you could make into Captain America here, as he's just being so just John Walker's just being so brutal here. Finally, he gets them tied up here and takes this little flame here, putting it into this here. Of course, this is a gas refinery, and he walks away. Now, let me tell you something. This is a big explosion. There's no way he's walking. I don't care if he's Captain America or not, but Captain America just killed them, and he also destroyed a refinery. So a lot of damage. So there we go. Captain America 346 and 347 by Mark Gruenwald, Kieron Dwyer, and Al Milgrom in the inks. Like and subscribe, and I do thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.